Hello, good afternoon dear teachers. I hope you all are doing well at your home. Today, through All India Radio Gangtok, I Dikila Lepcha from SCERT and Chiring Wongdi Bhutia from Diet Gangtok are here to orient you all on the newly developed EVS textbook of Class 3 developed by SCERT and Education Department. So, first of all, on behalf of our EVS textbook team, we welcome you all. I hope as you listen to this talk, it will help you with your lesson. So when you'll go back to your class, and take your lessons, so it will be very helpful to how to use this new textbook. We have with us an hour. During this time, we will be talking on our new EVS textbook. At the end of 40 minutes, we will take in your queries. So if you have any queries, please do call us on the studio number. The number is 03592 201171. I repeat, 03592 201171. Firstly, I will share with you a little about the initial phase of our writing journey, after which Chiring Wongdi will take you through the Class 3 EVS textbook. So, you all must be thinking why there was a need of writing new textbook. So, as all of us are aware, SCERT and Education Department usually undertake revision exercises of our textbook. The reason is, as we can see, that is a changes, day by day changes is there, continuously it's changing, be it in our society, any kind of ecosystem, technology and so on. So keeping all these changes in our mind, we have a mandate to synchronize our textbook with the changing reality. So in this regard, it has been decided earlier to follow the NCERT norms of implementing EVS from Class 3 onwards from this academic year. This is different from the previous year, when EVS was introduced in Class 1 itself. Though EVS is only introduced in Class 3 in our schools, some of the important elements of EVS have been embedded in the Math and English textbook of Classes 1 and 2. If I have to share how these elements of EVS have been embedded in English and Math is through their chapters, through their very different activities. If you look at their chapters, English and Math, they have different activities and chapters or the themes which they have selected for their textbook, like family and relation, food, water, plants, river and mountains, festivals, different types of melas, vegetables, animals, landslides and so on. So if you see, everything is there in our environment. So when in EVS means when we study about our immediate environment or our environment. So talking about the writing of the book, it took us about a year to complete the process of completing it. In the first phase of the textbook development work, a team of resource persons, writers and illustrators were nominated by SCERT and Education Department. For academic support, resource persons comprised of faculty members from Azim Premji University, Bangalore, and UNESCO MGIEP, which stands for Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development, New Delhi. Our writing team included a group of 18 faculty members from schools, college, DITES and SCERT. Designing and illustrations were done by the designing team from Gangtok called EcoStream. In the second phase, what we did was capacity building of a writer was undertaken through a series of extensive workshops conducted by subject experts from the academic support team. During this time, what we did was we read various documents which formed our preparatory exercise so that all writers could develop a better understanding of what should be in our EVS textbooks. In the third phase, field research was conducted to understand the voice of the stakeholders, like teachers, students, and society members. So before the process of writing our chapters, the writer visited schools and villages to interact with students, teachers, and people from our community. This exercise really helped us while writing our chapters, and many of the things which you see in our textbook is an outcome of this work. If I have to share one of these, our experiences related with this, so there is a chapter called Let's Celebrate Together, chapter number 11. Before writing this chapter, we visited different schools and interacted with children. What we found that was that idea of festival was very, very different from we adults. The way the children have the idea of a festival is very different. For them, festival is just a time for fun. When we have an interaction with them, they have never said that these festivals belongs to this religion. So if you read the chapter, nowhere we have mentioned festival according to the religion. So it was a great learning for us. And even the content, the pictures which are there, was really helped by them because they have drawn pictures, different pictures how they celebrate festivals or what are the things they do during the festivals. So with the help of the designer, illustrator, we have incorporated everything, their ideas in that chapter. In the fourth phase, we undertook the task of preparing syllabus and writing the chapters. In the final phase, the book was piloted in 40 government schools of the state. The objective of this was to incorporate necessary feedback that was received from our users of the books before the final rollout this year. Now I would like to highlight some features which I am not going in detail, okay? So which is very, very important for you to understand because it will help you in identifying the appropriate teaching strategies. Okay, so first of all, first one is embedding of education for sustainable development in our textbook. And this is one of the very, very unique feature of our new textbook. It was guided by experts from UNESCO MGIEP. Then while selecting content also, conscious efforts has been taken. Like whenever we were taking or whenever we were discussing or deciding about the content, we were very sure that it should be from the immediate environment of the child. When a child of class 3 is using the textbook like reading or doing any activities, he or she should be familiar with the context. The child should be able to relate to the chapters or the textbooks with his or her outside world. In other words, it should be contextualized. So everything in detail will be done by Chering sir later on. And what another things we kept in mind was whatever the things we are writing in our chapters should be age appropriate. And it should align with the learning outcomes and integrations of education for sustainable development should be there. An important features of the textbook is that chapters revolved around a theme. Why theme? Okay, so it is because the integration of subject makes children experience learning as a unified and coherent whole. It enables children to make sense of life's experiences by helping them connect and correlate their knowledge and experiences across the subject area. The themes chosen are strongly influenced by educational goals and social cultural linguistic, political and geographical context of Sikkim. It has chosen while keeping in mind the Sikkim's children at the 3rd grade or of age 8 years, their day-to-day experiences and exposure to the surrounding they lived in, their questions, their interests and the activities they are engaged every day. So on the basis of this, we selected our themes. So we have 4 themes in our new environmental studies textbook of class 3: family and friends, food and water, clothing and shelter, and travel and places. Under each of these 4 themes, we have various chapters. Altogether, there are 13 chapters in our EVS textbook of class 3. So with this, I come to the end of my talk. Now I would like to request Chiring to talk in more detail about the various features of the textbook. Over to Chiring, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Tikila Madam, for setting the background about textbook writing journey. A very good afternoon once again, and a warm welcome to All India Radio Gangtok, to all my teacher listener. So I'm here on behalf of all my textbook writing team from schools, diets and SCRT. So let me continue with our orientation session on environmental studies, textbook on general topic today. So right now, I think teacher must be carrying the book with you, or tapaihharukoma soft copy pani available hola. So when you open the book, when you see the book, there is a cover page with illustration of one bird offering khada to other, which is a traditional and common practice of every community in Sikkim. So that children will be able to connect with the textbook, and it will make them realize that this book is meant for the student of Sikkim. And when you turn the page, or when you open the first page, I am in the first page right now, you will again find another picture of people of Sikkim carrying water. So when the children will see this picture, they will get an idea about our local indigenous practices which are integrated in our textbook. Further, you will find the similar kind of pictures and beautiful illustrations in every chapter, because students, they love to learn visually as one of the pedagogy. So now let's come to the forward page. So here I am going to talk about what are the guiding factors for writing our new textbook. As हाम्रो टिकिला म्याडमले अगाडि भन्नुभयो कि that writing a textbook, we went to the field, we collected some data, right? We referred to many sources, many books, many articles. So basically, there are 3 factors which are very important on which the new textbook are aligned with. र यो 3 factors are, र म यहाँ one by one I'm going to say what are this factor. So number 1 is the learning outcome of NCERT. Number 2 is embedding education for sustainable development of United Nations agenda. And number 3 is contextualization. I think एक दुईवटा कुरा तपाईले अगाडि पनि सुन्नु भएको थियो, टिकिला म्यामले भन्नु भएको थियो, that the special feature of this book is integration. Embedding भनेको हामीले कसरी यो sustainable development लाई हाम्रो टेक्स्टबुकमा integrate गरेको छ. So first, let's talk about the first guiding principle, which is learning outcome of NCERT. Now, through our diets, हामीले series of training and on-site support earlier years ma cover गरेको थियो. Even SCRT and Samagra Shiksha, they have conducted many training on learning outcome. And my dear teacher, if you all remember, तपाईको last year ma एउटा training भएको थियो, which was massive integrated teacher training NISTA, National Initiative for School and Teacher Holistic Advancement. If you all remember, the one of the objective of this training was to improve the learning outcome of student. Hence, if you all again remember, recall that the training were on designing the lesson by constructive alignment of learning outcome with pedagogy and assessment. Bhaneko matlab, whenever we go to the class, we need to carry the learning outcome in the class. So when you have the learning outcome, you have to design the pedagogy. Pedagogy bhaneko your teaching learning method. And when you do the assessment, you have to see the learning outcomes are getting achieved. So once again, through All India Radio, I would like to inform all the teachers that learning outcome is part of Right to Education Act amended as per the Rule 23(2)(c) in 2007. Hence, it's very mandatory and a legal provision of a child. And again, I would like to relate this learning outcome with National Achievement Survey 2017 मा भएको थियो regarding for classes 3, 5 and 8. If you all remember the sample school, the questions were based on the learning outcome. Key questions are sabai higher order skill ko थियो, it was competency based and the result was published, right? Tabaiko district report card generate भएको थियो, and if you all remember that the report card of Sikkim is not that good, that our students have a very poor performance in all the subject. So now what we have done with the learning outcome in our EVS textbook, you can now refer to page number 8 and 9. We have 15 learning outcome, and this learning outcomes are as per NCERT. Ra हामीले we have integrated this learning outcome in our lesson or in our chapter. Now again, what is learning outcome? So now if I have to define, earlier also in other mathematics and English also, they have spoken about learning outcome. So if I have to define, it actually expect learner to know, understand or be able to demonstrate after a completion of a process of learning, which means it not only focuses on the development of the head, right, but equally it emphasizes upon heart and hand, which is तपाईले सुनिराको वर्डहरु, यो एजुकेशनल टर्महरु, कग्निटिभ डेभलपमेन्ट हुनुपर्छ, इफेक्टिभ हुनुपर्छ र लास्टको साइको मोटर स्किल. So and another good thing about learning outcome is it focuses on the process rather than on the product. Process in a process meaning that we need to engage children in the process of observation, discussions with elders and peers, questioning, explanation and so on. Right? So when you go through the book, you will see a lot of activity for student participation and engagement so that they will be involved in the process. So here, my dear teacher, I would like to quote the quotation of Mahatma Gandhi that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Okay, so now there is another question. About your learning outcomes, or where these learning outcomes are derived from. Then we should always relate with the aims and objective of teaching EVS. If you all recall the training that you all have attended earlier, तपाईले सुन्नु भएको होला कि यो aims and objective हुनुपर्छ हैन कुनै सब्जेक्ट को, that once the child completes class 3, 4 or 5, they need to acquire the major aims and objective. So here in EVS, I would like to go in brief. एकदमै brief मा जान्छु कि major aims हरु हो कि नानीहरुले they should be acquiring the awareness. Number 2 छ तपाईको nurture, curiosity and creativity. Number 3 छ they should develop processing skills, है. त्यस्तै प्रकारले अर्को छ तपाईको to develop sensitivity, and finally to point out or raise issue related to equality, justice and respect for human dignity and right. So when you see this keyword are related with the learning outcome, or this learning outcome helps us to achieve this aims and objective of EVS. So let's come to page number 8 to 9 once again. Right? As I said, if you turn into page number 8 to 9, then there are 15 learning outcome. So when you see the learning outcome over here, there are action verbs. Your action verbs is एकदमै important हो. As a teacher, तपाईले देख्नुहुन्छ कि यो learning outcome छ 15 वटा, तर अगाडिको वर्डलाई चाहिँ action verb भनिन्छ र हाम्रो classroom teaching मा चाहिँ यो action verb लाई चाहिँ we have to always remember, because this action verb always helps teacher to design good teaching learning practices as well as to do assessment accurately. Ra coming to the learning outcome. So here are 15 learning outcomes starting with identifies. I'm not going to read out all the learning outcome. I'll just read out the indicator only. So mathemathi हेर्नुस् तपाईले identifies भनेर देख्नु सक्नुहुन्छ. त्यहाँदेखि मुनि जानुस् अलिकति bottom मा, then you'll find out describe है. त्यस्तै प्रकारले show sensitivity है. त्यहाँदेखि differentiate भनेछ, identifies, create भनेछ. So when you see this learning outcome, it is moving from cognitive to towards psychomotor skill. That means it is moving from simple skill to higher skill. Now, if I have to give an example, कि हाम्रो textbook मा हामीले कसरी यो learning outcome हरू integrate गरेको छ. For example, यो number 1 learning outcome हेर्नुहोस् कि number 1 learning outcome ले भन्दैछ कि children should be able to identify is the action verb, right? Simple observable feature, for example, shape, color, texture, aroma of leaves, trunk and bark of plants in immediate surrounding. Now, in one of our lesson, plant around us, right? त्यसमा के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले for your kind information to all the teacher, हामीले यो during lockdown मा हामीले एउटा unit planning पनि बनाएको छ through diets, है. र यो unit planning मा के गरेको छ भन्दाखेरि we have given suggested activity, right, so that children can carry out to achieve the learning outcome staying back at the home. So in that unit plan under this chapter, what we have written is children can observe the plants around them and note their different feature. र अर्को, they can also collect the leaves and paste in their notebook. So likewise, यहाँ अरू रुम छ है. Or example, like coming to create, which is higher order skill, है. यो create drawing भनेर एउटा learning outcome छ, design, है, किनभने model top. र हामीले water भन्ने च्याप्टर मा चाहिँ यो युनिट प्लानिङ मा टिचरलाई हामीले सजेस्ट गरेको छ कि तपाईहरुले नानीहरुलाई you can give an questions like they can make poster or they can write slogans, they can either write poems on saving water, because we have a chapter water for everyone. And when you open the book also, you will see lot of activity which will lead to this learning outcome. So, my dear teacher, please remember these action verbs are very important, and this action verb will make sure that the holistic development of the child is occurring. Okay. So now, coming to the second guiding factor, because this is very important, and this this is a special feature of our textbook, है, कि हामीले ESD लाई embed गरेको छ भन्दैछ, है. र यो embedding भनेको चाहिँ हामीले integrate गरेको छ भन्दैछ. र कसरी integrate गरेको छ, I will be giving few example also. So र अहिलेको हाम्रो recent तपाईहरुले हामीले higher classes मा पनि सुन्छ, we hear in news also the global crisis that the world is facing. For example, global warming, अर्को भयो क्लाइमेट चेन्ज, अहिलेकै रिसेन्ट हाम्रो कोभिड-19 को आउटब्रेक, है. र यो सबै ग्लोबल इश्यूजहरु हेर्दाखेरि one question arises to all of us: are we making this planet safe for our future generation? So this is a big question. And if you all remember, who is the cause for all this suffering? हैन, यो सबै ग्लोबल क्राइसिस हुँदैछ वर्ल्डमा. एन्ड हियर वी शुड आई थिंक यू ऑल मस्ट बी नोइङ लॉर्ड बुद्धको एउटा पॉइंट कि he has pointed that the human beings or we are the cause for our own suffering. And there is always a question that what is there for our future generation? र त्यही कन्टेक्स्टमा हाम्रो युनाइटेड नेसनले, है, युनाइटेड नेसनले 17 सस्टेनेबल गोल्सहरु, है, मेन्सन गरेको छ टु बी अचिभ बाइ 2030. So here I will just like to read out the 17 goal of sustainable development. Number 1 is उहाँले भन्नुहुँदैछ that they should be achieved by 2030. No poverty, number 1. Zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, and there are others also. Now, coming to how this no poverty, no hunger भनेर हामीले चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ यो सस्टेनेबल गोल्सहरुलाई चाहिँ how we have integrated. For example, हाम्रो एउटा च्याप्टर छ फुड वी ईट भनेर, है, हाम्रो टेक्स्टबुकमा एउटा च्याप्टर फुड वी ईट भनेर छ. देयर इज अ नैरेटिभ अफ चाइल्ड टकिङ अबाउट व्हाट दे एट लास्ट नाइट, कि उहाँले खाना के खाएको थियो भनेर, है, रातिको डिस्कसन जस्तो छ त्यहाँनिर. सो वान अफ द क्यारेक्टर ओभर देयर इज सेइङ दैट I am Kiran from Singtam. There was nothing to eat last night. We all slept hungry. How would you feel if you have to sleep without food like Kiran? So the question is asked to the children. र यो क्वेशन सोध्दाखेरि चाहिँ के हुँदैछ भन्दाखेरि that all the children are not privileged, that all of them are not, rich. There is always inequality, rich and poor. There is always, shortages of food that some people do not have access to single meal also. So, directly we have not spoken about this as sustainable goal, this is no poverty, this is no zero hunger, rather in the textbook we have given a character, we have made an activity where children will come to understand that food is very precious. Right? त्यही कन्टेक्स्टमा युनाइटेड नेसनलाई चाहिँ एडुकेसनलाई एउटा टुल जस्तो मानेर है वेपन जस्तो मानेर उहाँले युज गरेर टु अचिभ दैट थ्रू एजुकेसन ओन्ली वी क्यान अचिभ द सस्टेनेबल गोल by integrating in our textbook. And in this mission, I think Sikkim is the first state, and we are very privileged and we are very fortunate. So as I said, हामीले directly moralize गरेको छैन textbook मा कि यो ESD issue है, यो pollution है, and this is what you should not throw paper, you should not throw plastic भनेर something we have not mentioned anywhere. We have not moralized है. So how we have done is we have designed the activity in such a way that our children will acquire the competencies. Competencies is very important. ESD competencies is very important. Why is it very important? Is because tomorrow they will be enabled, student will be enabled them to participate in decision that will improve the quality of life of everyone without damaging our planet. So I'm going to read out the 11 list of ESD competencies. Right? हामीले यो competencies like base गरेर चाहिँ we have designed the story, we have designed the activities. So number 1 is acquiring knowledge. Right? Next is solving issues, problem, conflict. Thinking critically is next. Next is communicating and negotiating, dealing with system, facing the future, reflecting on values, participating and collaborating, changing perspective, thinking and active inclusively, and last is showing solidarity and responsibility. Ki नानीहरुले this kind of skill they should acquire. Now, we have not spoken about this skill, right? Directly, as I said earlier, we have not spoken about this skill directly in the textbook. So how we have integrated? Now, my dear teacher, I would like to give some example from the chapter itself by picking this competencies. So, to begin with, first, तपाईको changing perspective चाहिँ एउटा skill भयो, जो चाहिँ नानीले acquire गर्नुपर्ने छ. र हामीले डाइरेक्टली त्यो स्किलको बारेमा लेखेको छैन र यो चेन्जिङ पर्सपेक्टिभ भनेको के हो भन्दाखेरि दैट चिल्ड्रेन शुड बी एम्पथाइज टु पुट वन सेल्फ इन समवन शूज है र यो एउटा च्याप्टर छ यु क्यान रेफर टु च्याप्टर 1 अफ अ फ्यामिली and you can refer to page number 20. In page number 20, if you see under family, there is a character called Harka Daju. Right? Harka Daju is a part of a family, something like this. The story is there, right? And after the narrative, there is a question follows like this. Now, the question is asking with the icon. An icon I will come and talk later. Now, the question is asking, what is the work done by people in your family? Ask your friends about the work done by their family. And the second question is asking, would you consider Harka Daju as a part of Tashi's family? Why? Share your views with others. So we think that a family means an ideal picture of father and mother, but in some family there are single mother or single father, and we forget to consider plants and animals as also being a part of family. But here with this Harka Daju story, I think children will be able to acquire this skills of changing perspective, that we need to put oneself in someone's shoes as well. र त्यही प्रकारले अर्को छ competencies to show solidarity and responsibility. है र यो भनेको चाहिँ के भनेको हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ children should be able to develop attitude of staying and working together. र यो skill चाहिँ अब हामीले with the help of, now you can refer to again, we'll go to chapter number 2, places we share. You can come to chapter number 2. Under chapter number 2, you can go to page number 22, right? 22 ma jandakeri, what you will see is there is a narrative about two characters, Kusang and Norzing. Now, under this under this narrative, what they are talking about is the existing samaj. जो हाम्रो समाज हुन्छ नि है सोसाइटीमा कम्युनिटीमा एन्ड हेल्पिङ इच अदर खेतालाहरू जान्छ नि है काम गर्नुको लागि सो यो कुराहरूलाई हामीले लिएर आएको छ हैन र तपाईले पेज नम्बर 32 मा हेर्नुहोस् है अहिले म So we'll just follow the questions which are which will make them realize that we need to develop an attitude of staying and working together. So the question follows like this. What other ways can the samaj help people? They have to respond. And question number 2 is asking, do you have a samaj in your place? If yes, what name is given to your samaj? So when they learn this, they will develop actually the competencies of showing solidarity and responsibility. Now, coming to another, I'll give one more, right? Solving issues, problem and conflict. Right? This is another ESD competencies. As I said, there are 11. So here I'm covering only 3. So what does it mean? Solving issues, problem and conflict. Right? Children should be able to contribute to the solving of issues and problem. So in this context, we can refer to the last chapter on Yuki's Town. Last chapter, sir, under Yuki's Town, in page number 170, you can refer that there is a dialogue. There is a dialogue between Sita, who comes from a village in earlier chapter, chapter number 12, and there is a dialogue by Yuki. Now Sita is saying that we throw waste and we recycle it, right? Bastima जस्तो हामीले मलहरु बनाउँछ हैन सो सीताले भन्दैछ कि हामीले मल बनाउँछ सब्जीको त्यस्तै प्रकारले युकीले भन्दैछ कि तपाईको we throw waste or there is a garbage collector who comes and picks our waste. Now followed by there are questions to the children now, to the student. What do you do to keep your surrounding clean and free from waste? What do you do with the things you don't need anymore? So there are other questions also. So when the child will respond to this sort of question, what they will do is they will be able to acquire the skills of solving issue, problem and conflict. So that's how we have embedded ESD in our textbook, and further hamro in days to come there will be theme wise, then you'll have more idea on this. Now coming to the third factor now, which is very important and also very special, is contextualization. Right? Now your contextualization भनेको चाहिँ what does it mean भन्दा चाहिँ हामीले यहाँनिर एकदमै local issuesहरु, local flavorहरु add गरेको छ. Like for example, if you all remember, I was reading out the local name like Kusang, right? त्यस्तै प्रकारले Yuki, Sita भनेर. So त्यस्तै there are other places, name of the places which are very familiar with the child, and even the cultural practices also. So wherein more than ever before, the concern of local context is closely knitted to the global context and vice versa. Ra EVS in primary school of our textbook will empower children realize that every environmental solution and ethos of human values we uphold in Sikkim has a critical place in the world outside. Right? Ra hamro yo practices will be acknowledged by the world outside. Even EVS in primary schools of Sikkim will empower children think their local action have global consequences. Right? Ra yei context ma भन्नु पर्दा today we are very fortunate and we are very blessed state because we have 0 COVID cases, and it should help them realize that our beautiful mountains, हाम्रो greenery, हाम्रो rivers, हाम्रो ecosystem and rich cultural heritage have inherited as something that have to be proactively protected, preserved, practiced, and that it should emerge as an example to the world outside. So regarding curriculum, it is very flexible that even the teachers from the remote village as well as town of Sikkim can design their own pedagogy, right? By keeping in mind the locally available resources. For example, हामीले यहाँ midday mealहरुको स्कुलकै midday meal लाई activitiesहरु design गरेको छ. There is activity like ask to your grandparents, elder member of your family, how they used to bring and store water. And I think under one of the chapter called clothing, त्यहाँनिर तपाईको एउटा अर्जुन भनेर एउटा character छ who makes warm clothes from sheep's wool. So such approach in curricula signifies the importance and relevance of local indigenous knowledge, and also open up the children's environment beyond school as avenue of learning. And not to forget, we have abided by the principle of NCF, connecting knowledge from classroom to community. So my dear teacher, right now I've just covered 3 factors which are very important, that how we have written, or what are the factors that we have integrated in our textbook. So now coming to next page of the book itself, है तपाईहरुकोमा book छ होला, छैन भए पनि तपाईहरुले you will get the soft copy later on. So when you see the book, there is, I think in page number 6, you can refer to page number 6. त्यहाँनिर तपाईको note to teachers and page भनेर 2 पेज लेखेको छ है, that you need to go through it. र यसलाई म एकदमै brief मा आज यहाँबाट भन्छु. र यसमा के important कुरा छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले number 1 point, I think we have written about that EVS should be dealt in integrated. We have followed integrated and thematic approach. As Dikila ma'am le bhanyo agi ki there are 4 themes for under our all the chapters has come from 4 themes, and all the chapters are written in integrated form. So if I have to give an example, there is one chapter like water for everyone. अब यो water for everyone भन्ने chapter मा चाहिँ we have not provided only the fact that what are the sources of water, where do you get water, है, so on. अब तपाईको फ्याक्टहरु हुन्छ है, water cycle. र हामीले कसरी integrate गरेको छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ not only there is a fact related with the water, but there are things which is related to the experience, child life experiences. For example, we have started with the story of Doma, how she goes and fetch water from Dara. So that's how we have integrated. And thematic makes any chapter, to relate with the child's life experiences rather than facts connected with it. So our chapters are based on theme, so that हामीले कुनै हामीले topic लेख्दाखेरि topic base मा लेख्दाखेरि it becomes very narrow, है, र children will not be able to understand. So if we start from the theme, they can really understand. So that's how we have done this integrated and thematic approach for EVS. When you come to the second paragraph, where I think they have spoken about how ESD are integrated in the chapter, right? As I already said, I already covered about few examples how this ESD competencies through chapters we have tried to integrate. Now coming to the next page, in page 7, there is a talk on, the content on emphasis on learner-centered pedagogy. So when you open the book, you will see a lot of participation of the student. In this chapter to transact, you need the participation as well as the engagement of the student. And they've spoken about illustration, as I said in the beginning, right? Illustrations is very important to make teaching learning more vibrant and real. Then coming to icons, which is very important in our textbook. You can refer to page number 9. Your icons are, let's say, it will help children to carry out activities to stimulate children holistically. When you see page number 9, activity ko lagi there is an icon, discussion, discussion they will develop the skills also, find out, think, working together, right. So we have not written this word, rather there are icons. And then as for the icon, they have to do the activity. And in every chapter there are teacher note, तपाईलाई कहीँनिर कन्टेन्टहरुतिर difficulty हुँदाखेरि there is a note to teacher to support तपाईको teaching and learning. And even teacher page, which is towards the end, we will discuss later. Alikati 5 minutes we'll discuss. And not to forget is very important, assessment, where पहिलाको जस्तो we have not written कि there is a content and there are followed by the question and answer or exercises. But the unique thing about this textbook is you will see series of assessment. भनेको मतलब assessment चाहिँ खाली end मा मात्रै गएर हुँदैन, it should start from the beginning. And यो inbuilt assessment गर्नुको मकसद चाहिँ not only to assess है, but also let children express. र हाम्रो assessmentहरु एकदमै we have aligned with the learning outcome, ESD competencies and skills of EVS. Now I'm coming towards the end, where if you go to page number 172, 73, त्यहाँदेखि तपाईको 174 and 175. यहाँ टिचर पेज छ. यो टिचर पेजमा के छ भन्दाखेरि ओभरभ्यू अफ द थीम एन्ड द च्याप्टर्सहरू छ. थीमको अघि नै म्यामले भनिहाल्यो, देयर आर 4 themes and there are 13 chapters. So here I would like to mention that teachers should follow constructivist approach where children construct their own knowledge through observation, interactions and discussions with peers and elders. And then हामीले यहाँनिर एकदमै रियल लाइफ एक्सपिरियन्सेस दिएको छ ओभर बुकिश नलेज.
श्रोता वर्गलाई म भीम ठटाल, डाइरेक्टर प्राइमेरी एडुकेसन अनि समग्र शिक्षा डाइरेक्टरको तर्फबाट नमस्कार. एससीईआरटी अनि समग्र शिक्षाद्वारा तयार पारिएको प्राइमेरी स्कुलको लागि जुन टेक्स्ट बुक छ त्यो तयार भएर आइसकेको छ. तर यो नयाँ टेक्स्ट बुकलाई पढाउनका लागि शिक्षक शिक्षिकाहरूले प्रशिक्षण लिनु अनिवार्य छ. अहिले लकडाउनको समयमा कुनै एक ठाउँ भेला भएर ट्रेनिङ दिन सम्भव नभएकोले गर्दाखेरि हामीले यो ट्रेनिङ आकाशवाणीको गान्तोक केन्द्र मार्फत प्रसारित गरिरहेका छौं. प्रत्येक सोमबार, बुधबार अनि शुक्रबार दिउँसो 12 बजेदेखि यो ट्रेनिङ कार्यक्रम आकाशवाणी गान्तोकबाट प्रसारण गरिनेछ. यस कार्यक्रमलाई अस्ति चाहिँ हामीले प्राइमेरी टिचरहरूको लागि मात्र राखेका थियौं, तर अब यो कार्यक्रम हामीले प्राइमेरी टिचरलाई मात्र नभएर चाहिँ सबै स्कुलका हेडमास्टरहरूलाई, ब्लक रिसोर्स सेन्टर कोअर्डिनेटर, क्लस्टर रिसोर्स सेन्टर कोअर्डिनेटर, एसिस्टेन्ट एजुकेसन अफिसर, एसिस्टेन्ट डाइरेक्टर, डेपुटी डाइरेक्टर सबैले यो ट्रेनिङ गर्न अनिवार्य रहेको छ. त्यसर्थ यहाँहरूलाई यो ट्रेनिङ अनिवार्य रूपमा गरिदिनु हुन हामी निवेदन गर्दछौं. स्मरण रहोस्, यस विषयमा अब अन्य कुनै ट्रेनिङ गरिने छैन. त्यसर्थ रेडियो मार्फतै यो जुन ट्रेनिङको प्रसारण भइरहेको छ यसैलाई नै तपाईहरूले सुन्नुहुन हामी निवेदन.
Hello, good afternoon dear teachers.